What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the opening day of the 2024 Fall Aegis Champions League. We have got a whole new set of 36 teams contending to be the best North American amateur team in the fall offseason. My name's Gordo. I am joined by Sneezes here, former Blue Otter coach, former OC coach. You can list off whatever other accolades you got here, Sneezes. Filling in for TDS today. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happily retired, vibing in the real world with a job and stuff. So happy to come back and watch these teams go at it. I know some of the folks in these teams, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Looking forward to tonight's matchup. And we're getting real close to the top of the hour here. In fact, we're a little bit past it. So let's get right into these teams. Starting things off, we've got Dorado Gaming White taking on BlackRock Esports. Let's take a look at Dorado first here. They're the higher seeded team coming in on this matchup. It is TC Porsche, Munchie, that's Kachu in the mid lane, Draxer at 80 carry, and Snow at support. Sneezes.
Yeah, so I think this team is like the tale of two solo laners, right? You have Porsche is probably the most stable OQ top laner, and Kachu is a really volatile, flashy mid laner. So I want to see how these guys play together. You know, Munchie, again, a very strong carry player. I'm really looking for that top side to do a lot of work tonight.
Absolutely here, and then facing off against them, coming in here, hoping to start things off with an upset, at least based on seeding, is going to be BlackRock Esports. We could pull their roster on up here. It's going to be Diesel, Krakodon, newcomer mid laner Lickable, Inori B, and Saint Ghoul from top to bottom.
I really like this bot lane. Fun fact, I tried to recruit St. Ghoul to OC back in the day and didn't work out, but Inori B and St. Ghoul should be a really explosive bot lane. And I'm interested to see Lickable. You know, Krakodon and Lickable could be a good mid-jungle 2v2. I think whoever kind of wins mid lane, mid control this series could take it. So let's see Lickable's debut against one of the better OQ mid laners.
Absolutely here. Looking like it is going to be a party. We will find out who exactly is going to end up being able to take an early lead here. I think based on, who's a known quantity, I think the big matchup to watch here tonight, Sneezes, is going to be the jungle here. We've got a couple of real experienced jungles here, real rising stars, each of them in their own right. And it'll be really cool to see who's going to be able to come out on top as they face off.
Yeah, my big concern with the jungle tonight is the meta, right? We just changed all the items. We had a really huge patch. I was kind of looking forward to this match tonight because we're on Worlds patch, but we're not on Worlds patch. We're on like totally different lives patch. So like, is Jarvan still in play? Is Viego still in play? Can Munchie go back to some of the AP stuff, right? Like, what has Krakodon been playing in the summer? So it'll be really interesting to see how these junglers, kind of pivot on this new patch.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be true for everybody, right? We just got this whole new patch. We're not on the World's patch anymore. Whole new sets of items. Everything's nerfed. Every item is weaker, and this is kind of the goal, right? To try to reduce snowballing a little bit. We're going to see how well that actually turns out, but it definitely means that there's a lot of room for there to be some substantial changes compared to what we actually are seeing at the World Championship and what we were seeing the last time we saw a lot of these players. So everywhere across the Rift, definitely going to be a big question mark in regards to what are these players going to be picking, and you better believe that nobody's really optimized on this new patch yet.
Definitely. I think game one teams were going to feel each other out. Maybe play some comfort, maybe a little scaling. Could still see some Jinx, some Varus in the bot lane, but we'll see. Again, no clue what's meta right now. It literally just came out a couple days ago. I've not been watching scrims, so yeah, let's see how game one goes and then adjust from there.
Yeah, the beauty then of that is that you hope that you get to see some of the classic comfort picks for some of these players. I think the clear example there would be Inori B. Would love to see him on some of his classics, right? His Callista, his Draven. That's really what put him on the map. Some might have called it a crutch earlier in his career, right? He definitely leaned on those picks a lot. Has branched out more as those champions have dropped out of the meta, but this would be the perfect opportunity to try to bring them back. When you don't exactly know what's best, you can definitely kind of try to tilt the odds into your favor if you go towards the things that you have the most reps on.
And Krakodon's another really capable early game jungler. Plays the Jarvan, has played the Viego, the Lee Sin. So maybe they just go for early game here and try to punch Dorado Gaming White in the mouth.
Absolutely here, and then that's going to be the other thing to look at here is going to be that top lane matchup. These are two of probably the players that are really the closest to that tier 2 level, right? We had Diesel get to sub in NACL just a little bit this past split for a couple of games, and then Porsche once again in the promo tournament, not quite able to make it in there. But both of these guys have been like right up at that top looking in over the course of the last year or so. And here's going to be a big opportunity for them to maybe even show up against some of that NACL level competition. Because if you look at the Piltover group, there's a lot of really strong top laners here. Right? To get a little bit off of these two teams while we wait for draft to get started, Cozy is here with AOE Esports as the first seed in this exact same group. And Lawrence, who promoted with you guys back in spring to summer of last split, representing Gentle Hearts and Demacia as well.
Well, I don't get credit for that because I wasn't on the team at that point. But yeah, you got a good crop of top laners in this group for sure. I think Diesel and Porsche are both pretty consistent. I'm kind of expecting, I'm not expecting a very volatile matchup. I'd like to see Porsche get on some of his comfort picks, right? Like the GP. And I think Cassante, if Cassante is still playable, that remains to be seen, could be contested across these two. So, we'll see how the fearless and the full fearless aspect pinches these guys' pools as well. But I wouldn't be surprised to see like a GP ban come out in game 1 just to keep things interesting. Oh, Akshan.
All right, Akshan immediately off the board for Lickable. I wonder if that's a little indicator here. I didn't go and look at the solo queue stats for all these guys, but when we immediately do start to see an Akshan ban, maybe that means a little something. Maybe people just paying a lot of extra respect towards that pick now, although I mean, from what marksman I've seen on Twitter, everybody seems to say the role is dead. I feel like they say that every time there's a change, not to target 20% of the audience here or anything, but definitely feels like I always hear that 80 carry is a little bit too weak. There's the Draven ban though, directed right towards Nori B, and the Ash ban going to be staying strong for BlackRock.
Yeah, I like the Ash ban with the Draven ban. I think I could see a Callista come out here for BlackRock, like you were talking about. We'll see. The setup is pretty good. I'm curious about the Orianna, right? Like I'm still kind of in Worlds Patch mode, where I'm thinking a lot of these mages are still really strong. So maybe not so with the items, but yep, there's the GP ban.
Yeah, I would think I'm still going to be leaning towards mages are probably strong, just because if every item is weaker, but most champions themselves aren't nerfed, you would think those that lean on the levels the most would be the best. So I would think that I would default towards thinking the mages are pretty strong, and this Ziggs hover, I mean, could be mid lane, could be bot lane, but might definitely be pushing us in a mage-worthy direction.
This is a flex. I'm pretty sure this would go bot for Dorado Gaming. I'm fairly certain this is a champ Draxar would be comfortable on, and it doesn't quite fit Kachu's playstyle, but I could see it, right? Kachu's was kind of known maybe a year and a half ago as a melee expert. Right, a really good Yone player, really good Aurelia, but maybe he's branched out a bit, so we'll see. But I think Zig's a really good B1 in this meta if we're still looking at mages.
Yeah,
I want to see just Jarvan Ori, guys. Come on, Jarvan Ori, let's go.
It definitely looks like it could be a Jarvan Ori angle. Okay. All right, you know what? That counts. That counts. We'll say it. It's the same kind of flavor with the Rel lock-in already coming through. Looking at a Jhin, so that definitely feels like it's a strong pick for a Nori B. He's going to be pairing up alongside St. Ghoul's Rel. Now hovering over this Leona for Dorado. This would be going over to Snow if it were locked in. Would be a strong
BRE is assuming that Ziggs is bot then with the Jhin pick. They're trying to match the prio Ziggs and be able to all in it when they can, right? So I think this is a fairly good trading lane, like a kind of trading picks. I like Ali a little bit over Rel, but we'll see. The other rest of Blind Viegos are not my thing, but we'll see. Yeah.
All right, here's this Yone. I was calling out earlier, the lethal tempo is definitely weak. I don't know if Yone and Yasuo are still the kings, but I know if there's any chance that they're strong, Kachu's going to be the guy to be busting them out. He's a big melee mid player. I think of him anytime I think of melee mids, and I think of melee mids when I think of him, and this Yone almost certainly going to be his in the mid lane.
Yeah, 100%. This is a good start for a comp, right? You get Yone on the flank. Ziggs can kind of play range, self-peel a bit, and Alistar can engage. They have a lot of Wombo combo, and they can throw damage down. So I'm a little worried about this Jhin being so immobile, but we'll see what they do. I think decent Poppy game, decent decent like Renekton or Cassante. Oh, just the Azir. Okay, yeah, they're just gonna try to peel. Yeah.
All right, Lickable going to debut on perhaps one of the most popular and omnipresent mid laners of the last decade in this Azir. See how he's going to be able to perform up against Kachu's Yone, something that he'll be super comfortable on, and the Olaf ban coming through.
They needed the DPS. I'm kind of glad they went Azir because with Jhin Rel, you're kind of low DPS, and if you're Yone Ziggs, it's too easy to kill Jhin. So they needed another carry, and I'm a little concerned because this player's making their debut, Lickable. But you know, it's going to be a tough one for Nori B to carry on the Jhin into this comp. So maybe Lickable just cracked and can hard carry, but I think a lot of pressure on this player for their debut.
Definitely looks that way, and definitely looking like prio towards the top lane going to start to show itself for both of these teams. Porsche going to lose access to some of those comfort champions. The Olaf already taken off the board, and Dorado trying to take away some of the safe blinds in that Ornn, the tried and true weak side top laner. I'm sure Diesel would love to be able to just take that one if he's got a blind, and instead BlackRock are going to ban away to Camille as well.
I think Dorado are happy if BlackRock pick the Renekton and they have picks into it. And then if it comes back to them, they, you know, if they pick jungle on 4, then they get the Renekton blind, right? So I don't think they're going to ban the Renekton here. I think they're going to ban something else. Maybe a jungle pair pick, but we'll see. Yep, the Jarvan, okay. And I think BlackRock have to pick the Renekton and bite the bullet and go to jungle 5, but like the draft math here says you should jungle 4, but I think you don't want to give Renekton to Porsche. Some of the counters are out. The Ornn can outscale it is out. They're just going to take Cassante and just trade Cassante Renekton.
All right, this is like
See, with new Cassante, I don't necessarily love it. If new Cassante is too hard to play, it's like harder to hit skill shots, right? Like slower Q, slower W.
I don't remember if it's exactly slower, but it's thinner. It's definitely harder to hit, and then you don't get the other big thing is you don't get the little radius around your champion on Q like it used to be. If you were touching up against another champion and you cast Q, you would pretty much hit them no matter what. They took that away. They took away the little hit radius, and then the Q itself is also thinner, so it's harder to hit in 2 different ways. We'll see how well they're going to be able to pilot that one for Diesel. And there's Porsche's Renekton that you've been talking about for a while, Sneezes. So
yeah, and then they already coming through. Yeah, they get a really strong blind pairing. Like this is super tough for BlackRock game 1. I want to see. I think you go Maokai. I think you just burn it and trade. I don't love Maokai Azir, but it's like one of the few AP jungle pairings you can actually make it work, and it does pair well with the Jhin and the Cassante. So I want to see Maokai here just play full disengage and trust your Azir can get a shuffle when Yone or Ziggs have no flash. But I think this is kind of a tough comp to play. So Sejuani has a lot of lanes to play through, pretty self-sufficient. Okay, the Ivern, yeah, it's kind of similar vein.
All right, I'm receiving word. I've been DM'd. It is likable. All right, and the man's Discord. Discord.
We're going off the Discord. Yeah, we're going off the Discord. CCK in the Discord. Okay. Apologies, likable.
Yeah, apologies, likable.
We're not very likable.
To be fair, man. To be fair, you have debated us. Like there's
yes.
There's a very clear indication, and it's towards the wrong direction. All right, you're likable from now on, brother. I'm sorry I
think this comp for BRE comes down to likable dealing a lot of damage and having the space to play. If Yone or Renekton can get a nice flank, it's gonna be very difficult. So I'm leaning dog W just for the ease of comp, but we'll see. You know, Ivern Azir can be very potent.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, the Ivern, a champion that's been subject of a lot of conversation over the course of the last few patches, but now we'll see how much he's kind of back in the realm of viability, how much stronger or weaker he is following all these itemization changes. I mean, with every item nerfed across the board, this kind of support items he goes for are still cheap and powerful. I would still think that he can definitely have that kind of really big power spike early on that people have been plenty happy to get for him while still being a good support towards the DPSs later on. Jhin Azir a little bit different of a duo, though, than it feels like we've most frequently seen the Ivern with. It feels like those double marksman comps have been where he's really been thriving over the course of 2024.
Yeah, I think it's a little tough, too, that Ivern doesn't really have someone to buff up in this comp, right? Like, maybe Azir, but Azir's pretty self-sufficient, and Jhin is just low DPS. If I'm looking at, like, a Jinx or a Varus or, like, a strong, you know, auto attack based ADC, I could see the Ivern, but it's a little concerning to me. You don't really have a strong buff character, right?
Well, here's the all-out Cassante is a lethality character now. He's not
It's
an
true.
AD character. I would still think probably
But
not.
you're
Exactly
handshaking on the Renekton, right? Like it's kind of an even
True.
handshake. You kind of get your pick between the two because they picked it on 4. So maybe they just feel the new Cassante is a lot stronger than the Renekton. But I think it's like a path top game. Whoever path tops first is going to get first blood. And, you know, the bot lanes are going to scale, and either Jhin will be effective or Ziggs will be effective, right?
Definitely.
I think it comes down to solo lanes, 100%.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that one, and that's where it's going to be some matchups to keep an eye on, right? There's Likeable on his debut up against Kachu. That is a rough one to have to go up against, and then these two top laners. I still think this could be, you know, if this is like an even trade lane with an opportunity for outplays being made available, then it'll be very cool to see Porsche taking on Diesel. Take a look at our matchups here. We got a new graphic to show off where everybody is going to be facing off, and we can hang here while we wait in for Spectale sneezes.
Yeah, definitely. I want to say this is an even matchup, like champion-wise, but I'm a little concerned about the nerfs to Cassante. And just, Renekton's probably Porsche's best champion at this point, right? Like, this guy knows his damage thresholds really well. He's going to all-in you at level 6 really well. Like, and he's got the Sejuani. So I think BRE, if they could take it back, would maybe change up some of their second bans and set up for the Cassante a little better. But, you know, you never know. I think Krakedon Ivern, we'll see how it goes. I think he played a lot of Ivern and OQs, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know if there's great champions for him to play with this game. It's my only like hiccup. And they have Yone Renekton, right? Feels like super good for Sejuani.
Yeah, and then on top of like the big overall questions about what champions are good, what champions are bad, what has the item rework really done to the Rift, and which of these teams has a better read coming in, the Cassante is like that question magnified even further because we just know so little about this champion. There's no way Diesel's gotten a huge amount of reps on the new Cassante unless he's been grinding out PvE games, and even then, probably not the best practice. So curious to see how he's going to be able to pilot this new champion. If they even call out explicitly in the patch notes, like, yeah, you guys are going to have to relearn this one a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe there's a fat finger or missed ability, or it's just not that bad, right? Like, these players are really good. These are challenger players. They kind of know their thing. So if Diesel's comfortable picking it and has read the patch notes, knock on wood, then maybe it's okay. Maybe we're overblowing it, right?
Yeah, that's a bold call right there. But you know what? This is going to be the game that determines, does Diesel read patch notes, yes or no? We'll call a final conclusion based on that alone. Now, the other question that we had before we even saw the draft was, what's Draxler's AD carry going to be like? I think you probably feel a little comfortable, even if you are skeptical of Draxler's AD carry, because he's piloting that Ziggs. I think that's definitely going to be a pick where you kind of just wave clear. You're going to try to keep your distance from the Jhin, and there's not going to be too much crazy AD carry responsibilities placed on your shoulders.
Yeah, really self-sufficient, hard to dive, can wave clear. If he gets a lead, he can carry, he can shift to other lanes. Like, you know, Draxler's a pretty accomplished coach as well. So from a macro standpoint, Ziggs is a great champion to have. Probably going to take TP, going to be able to just bang out a couple towers in the early game, get your team a natural gold lead. And then I think the nice thing is with Ziggs and Yone, you can almost always get prio in the lanes around objectives, right? Ziggs will almost always get mid prio if he's sitting on mid, and Yone in this team comp should get prio, maybe unless Azir is really strong, right? We'll definitely get prio into Cassante on the side lane. So you have options to open through those sides if you need to, or just like go down mid and NA ram it, right? So I think, again, the setup is pretty easy. I think teams aren't going to play that discipline though, right? Like, this isn't NACL. Teams are scrimming once a week at best. Like, I think it's going to be a fist fight. So, you know, let's see how the teams fist fight and see what happens. But yeah, I'm leaning Dorado in game one just because the comp is so much simpler to execute.
For sure. And, you know, to take a step back here and give us a little bit of a view of the group, see who's going to be able to kind of take some of these earlier leads in Noxus. This is definitely a matchup that's going to very possibly have some big spillover effects, or Piltover rather, not Noxus, as there's a couple of different teams that you could definitely see making top 4 and making the playoffs out of this group. Dorado White certainly seated high and expected to be one of those teams. BlackRock Esports, one of those teams in tier 4 that's kind of could be on the outside looking in, could be on the inside looking out. It's kind of them and Gentle Hearts as the default assumption for who's going to be posturing for that 4th seed. A win here over Dorado White would be absolutely massive for them and those chances to take that spot.
Yeah, this would be a huge win for them. Give them a little buffer and kind of make it easier as they go up against some of the other teams in this group. I think the favorite here is definitely AoE. You know, I think the challenge with these off-season tournaments is you kind of get like 4 or 5 teams that are really cracked, that are like full NACL or, you know, even a couple LCS player rosters. But for these guys, like especially, you know, maybe game 1 goes bad, maybe they sneak it out. But yeah, game 2, 3, I'd love for them to get a win or even take a game or 2, just because the game record is a playoff indicator too, right? Like it's one of the tiebreakers, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, head-to-head's going to have a big impact too, just because of the fact that you only play each other team once. I don't remember the exact order. I'd have to double check that. We'll definitely be doing a lot of tiebreaker math as we get towards the end of the season too.
Oh yeah, but 36 teams. I'd be shocked if there wasn't at least one tiebreaker.
Oh, there will be tiebreakers, no doubt. But I mean, the beauty of it is though, there are 9 teams per group, so hopefully those like extra games, you know, you get 8 matches by the time you're done. We've added that extra Monday game at the end of the split, the end of the regular season at the very least. 8 games total hopefully will give you a better chance here. And we did have some issues with the spec client. It's one of those patches, boys, every single time. So hopefully we'll be able to get us back into the Rift here before too long.
Yep, we're chilling, figuring it out. We love when all the items and meta changes during Worlds. You know, shout out to the bounce schedule for not having us play in the Worlds patch.
Well, I mean,
let's go. Can we just make the Worlds Pass a month, Cordon? Can we?
Oh my God.
We talk to some people over there and just say like, hey, we're locking it down for a month. We don't care if it's a bad meta. Varus is going to get picked in the finals anyway. Who cares? Like, come on.
I agree with you. I think that would be good. I would love to be able to just hang out on the exact same patch for the duration of Worlds and kind of have that same evolution of the game that that Worlds itself has, right? Because famously, you know, the Worlds patch, it's a month long on the exact same patch. And that is what ends up making the difference as we get later in, is like people innovate. You know, there's no actual balance changes, but new picks come out, new picks make a difference. I hear League of Legends sounds in the background. So we're ready to get out of the Rift, Sneezes. Let's get into game number 1. Put thoughts of Worlds to bed. It is time for the new patch. It's time for the new League of Legends. Let's get into game number 1.
Yeah, let's see it. And remind me later, I have a theory about the Worlds patch I'll share in between games.
All right, I would love to hear that one. But as we get out here, both teams emerging from the base. No crazy starting item choices or anything. Looks like the Doran's still the default option. We'll be keeping tune on what the new item meta looks like as we go, though. As so far, pretty basic spread for both teams.
We are 5-point. We are boring. Great job, guys.
Sometimes you want to debut your season with something a little bit more boring. Portion Diesel waving hello to kick things off here. You know, you could say Kachu's up a little far, perhaps. Maybe looking for a little delayed invade. That top side going to be so dangerous with the Sejuani plus 2 melee solo laners.
Definitely. I think he just wants to get a ward down if he can. They really want to find Ivern's start, because you can kind of, especially with Ivern, you can infer his pathing really effectively from his starting camp. But it doesn't, you know, you kind of have to set numbers, right? You need to send 3 people to a side to be able to do that whole process of elimination. So looks like both junglers pathing top. I think we get a fight at level 3.
Absolutely. Quick shout out to Teddy coming through with the raid. Appreciate you joining us here for our opening game of the 2024 ACL. So far, no action yet in the level 1. We're just waiting for these minions to crash, and it's looking like bot side starts for both junglers. A defensive ward thrown down by Krakodon on his top side to make sure nobody's coming in for those sorts of invades.
Yep, very standard. No one's invading, no one's contesting. I think Sedge is going to full clear to top. Ivern's going to do his kind of Ivern things. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe Crocodon ends his path bot level 3. We'll see what he wants to do. But I think the first fight this game is going to be in the top side.
Yeah, and immediately noticing here,
gets very spicy.
Yeah, immediately noticing here, Snow is on the Chad phase rush Alistair. Do love to see this. It's not the defensive aftershock choice that you'll see most frequently on these engaged supports. He's looking for opportunities to chase people down, get those stuns, maybe reposition for a clever headbutt. It is going to make him squishier, though, even when he does land at CC.
Yeah, I think Snow's a really experienced all-star player. He has, you know, builds for all the champs he plays that might deviate a little bit from the standard, but he knows exactly what he wants to get out of these champions. Fun story. I don't know if he's still. Oh, here we go. Bot fight.
Yeah, something starting off here. Munchie on his way down. CC on a St. Ghoul. Flash in with the Arctic Assault. Going to force a flash out of St. Ghoul, but it's just going to be the 1-for-1 trade. He's getting out of there safe.
Okay, and I think the interesting thing that comes out of that is St. Ghoul does not have Hex Flash, so pretty neutered lane here now. I think Ziggs is going to be able to consistently get Prio, and it's going to be very difficult for BRE bot lane to actually step up the test for the next couple minutes.
Definitely. An invade angle opened up for Crocodon there as he does go through. Looks like he took away that blue buff, if I'm not mistaken, so that's going to be something Munchie doesn't have access to earlier on. And interesting to see Munchie dedicate those time and resources towards the bot lane when he is this Sejuani with the double melee laners, and you'd really expect him to go towards Portion Kashu.
Yeah, I think Munchie's a little overzealous right now. We'll see. Maybe this works out, but
Unstoppable doing
nice.
a lot of work for Diesel there, but he is just getting melted by this
First blood,
damage,
okay.
and that's first blood over to Porsche. Nicely done, but now Kachu getting engaged on in the mid lane, going to trying to dash his way out of there. Will be locked down by that trigger seed, and now looking to see if they can finish him off. Likeable taking a fair bit of damage, though, dashing away to avoid Snow. A re-engage onto Crocodon. It's 3 versus 1, and Kachu comes up with a kill as well.
yeah, speaking of overzealous, I was worried about Munchie getting out-tempoed because of Crocodon's farming, but it, you know, just a bit of an overstay on the gank and could have just walked away. But seems like these, like I said, these teams really want to fight. It's a fist fight. You know, nobody's here to clear waves, it seems.
Oh, Kachu maybe overstaying his welcome, trying to trade back on a St. Ghoul, but he will fall. Likeable going to be able to pick up his first of the game. Walks away with the double buffs as well, making him on even footing with the opposing mid laner.
See, if this was an NACL scrim, you'd have one team asking for a remake, and then the other team would say they don't remake until the next game when you are ahead of them, right?
So you're thinking it's BlackRock who wants the remake at this point?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, well, I think it's concerning when your Ivern is out tempoed and then you give up a free kill.
Yeah,
Definitely a little tilting.
A little bit of a rough position here early on for Crocodon, but getting back into his farm game. Kachu really trying to take control over this mid lane. Definitely Likeable going to be thanking his lucky stars that he's able to pick up that kill back. Falling behind in this matchup, certainly not where he wants to be. Recall coming through from Diesel, definitely falling behind as well from that early kill.
Yeah, I think Porsche's really comfortable, happy where the lane's going, so we'll see. But yeah, it seems like Likeable's just gonna get picked on here.
Oh wow, trying to tath away from the tower, see if he's going to be able to create that extra distance, but the flash closes the gap. And another kill going over to Dorado, and another kill going over to Kachu.
Looks like first grubbies over for Dog. Dog W, Dog White, we'll call them.
Sure.
Nope, everyone wants to gank. We're hovering in the bush, just perma hover, and okay, now we're hitting the grubbies. We might do an objective this game, guys. We'll see.
Munchie trying to get that one under control here, but yeah, definitely a lot of pressure being exerted from Kachu. He's just keeping that lane shoved in, does not care how many people come to visit him. He knows they don't have the damage to take him out without Likeable present. So will be a quick push, a quick recall, getting back to business. But 3 grubs over to Dorado. Definitely an early game that is going according to plan for them as they have built out advantages in both those solo lanes, just like you asked for.
Yeah, I think BlackRock need to kind of chill for a bit and get their level 6 on their carries, right? I know Azir just hit 6, You really need Ivern and Jin to hit 6 as well. And maybe you can play around it while playing this dragon, but they have to contest second grubbies. I think it's really hard to play side lanes into Renekton, Yone if they have 6 grubs. So I'm kind of, if they get the Drake for free, great, but I'm really looking to make a play on second grubs. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Definitely going to be the goal here. Diesel, nice job pulling underneath the turret, going for the ulti, but the turret aggro is broken just barely. He's still looking for this trade, though, using that new lethality buff. Meanwhile, fight possibly breaking out on the bottom side. Does look like Diesel and Porsche were able to successfully disengage from one another, and multiple Dorado members now down towards this bottom side taking the blue buff.
Yeah, we traded ults top, which is good. It you know, at least fair trade. I think Diesel would be in trouble if Porsche could walk away with that ulting, but you know, thankfully probably no redive on the wave. And yeah, I think Dog W really wants to dive the bot, but they kind of can't. The wave clear's too good, so they're just going to settle for the blue buff.
Oh, taking that one away. Nori and St. Ghoul able to thin out the wave enough to keep themselves safe. Another recall forced out of Diesel, though, that Porsche can push in the wave before matching, so he's just going to keep building up this CS lead bigger and bigger. He's got to be pretty close to an item spike, and this Renekton is starting to feel very, very dangerous. He's even staying for some turret plates here, and I've got to believe he's getting 1 or 2.
Yeah, and that's the concern with the next Grubbies fight, right? Like, this team is very scary in the side lane, and if they can't play if BRE can't play the grubs, it's like really hard. So I'd consider swapping as we get closer to the scrub timer here, just so that you can get you can actually play and not have to deal with like the 6 grubs, right? It looks like a little freeze frame.
Yeah.
But the challenge is Ziggs will take your tower, right? Like if you don't swap properly, Ziggs is gonna take your tower, and I don't know how much these teams have been scrimming or if they practice out their swaps. So
yeah, we will have to see. Does look like they're keeping to standard lanes for now, and that is a Black Cleaver already done for Porsche, so he is impossibly dangerous right now, and like you said, is going to be a big issue at that second grubs fight. Clearing out their camps on the top side already. Munchie going to be in the area a couple of moments, but we will see how BlackRock tries to adapt to this. They definitely do want to be able to utilize their Ziggs. They're recalling the bot lane here.
And Munchie's caught up. You know, we started the early game with like a 10 CS gap, and I was kind of worried about Munchie getting out tempoed, you know, kind of ganking on 2 timers in a row, but Munchie's farmed really well, has stayed on pace with Krakadon, and yeah, I think next big play is going to be these grubbies are spawning in a minute or so, and it's going to be very hard for BRE to play unless they get a really big Azir shuffle or something.
That's what we're on the lookout for. Redeploy, keeping everybody about where they are generally expected to be.
By the way,
who is?
Ziggs. Nothing has happened in this game. Ziggs is super happy.
All the way. Now Draxter finally gets his recall. He got interrupted, but still just able to clear out the wave, no problem. Never really under any pressure. Didn't get forced to blow any summoners. He's got access to the teleport as necessary, and we did just kick over 10 minutes.
So that they can play the grubs guaranteed. Yeah, they're gonna move Kachu down bot because his TP is about to come up. Or they're just gonna dive this.
CC coming on across, didn't quite land that glacial prison, but Likeable gonna be locked down either way. Just barely staying alive. The shield from the shifting sands letting him stay strong. Krakadon chasing him down now with Daisy. Over the wall comes Kachu, looking to turn it back onto the Ivern. Will be able to make it a jungler for jungler trade as Anori B opens up with the curtain call. Kachu still moving forward, wants to lock down St. Ghoul, but there is damage from Anori B here. One more deadly flourish blocked away by Snow as he re-engages onto St. Ghoul. Another one to Kachu.
Ooh, here comes
Likeable coming in on the flank, going to try to turn this one back around. Good cleanse from Anori B, going to buy him the space to keep kiting this one out, and now they're pinned. Will the Shurima shuffle come on through? It's actually still on cooldown. Likeable will be able to trade one onto Snow, looking for a second onto Kachu. Makes it a double kill and a shutdown to the Azir, and another shield will keep him standing. BlackRock turned nothing into something.
Yeah, the overzealous mid dive here from Dog W kind of overplays their hand, and BlackRock punish. You know, I think after the first kill, you're trading junglers. I think you just walk away, but you know, that's the beauty of the off-season tournament. Teams aren't as well practiced. They're not as disciplined. We want to fight. We see enemy kill enemy. So yeah, good punish for BRE to kind of hang out in this game.
And 2 kills, one of them a shutdown going into that Azir. He's going to need to be that primary DPS that they're looking for into the later game. So I think you're very happy with how that gold's been allocated if you're BlackRock at this point.
Definitely. We kind of said in the pregame is Zier needs to be one of the carries of this team comp, and 3-1, you're well on the way.
Yeah. Spec client giving us a little bit of trouble. I don't know if this is an in-client pause or if this is the spec client crashing on us. We did mention to you that this has been a bit of an issue on this patch, so we'll see if we're able to get it back here.
Yeah.
Might have to. We'll
try to go back
here.
Try to go back like 10 seconds. We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get this one resolved before too long, but we've got some gameplay at the very least, and if we can't get it to start back up again right now, we will reconnect via old OPGG shenanigans and hopefully be able to keep the game going. But an explosive early game so far, a nice lead built out by Dorado White. That's kind of our expectation coming on in, and now the fight back from BlackRock, though, looking like it's there. I like what their carries have been able to show.
Yeah, I like that Dorado's game plan was kind of play through Kachu, attack the mid lane, but BRE is hanging in there, and if Likeable can hit those item spikes and maybe get 3-4 items,
Oh, Draxler locked down 1 versus 3. They might finish him here in Ori B. One more shot will do it as the trigger seed finishes him off. And that'll be another one to BlackRock. But now Diesel chasing on towards Porsche. Let's see this Cassante damage. He's looking for the finish. Doesn't land the follow-up Q. And it looks like it will be an escape from Porsche. Meanwhile, the mid laners duking it out yet again. Good dodges from Lickable, but he's still got Snow behind him. And Snow will finish the job.
Yeah, just the repeated mid dives. You got Sejuani, Alistar. You can kind of do what you want, right? The tower doesn't do much to those champions. So, just unfortunate. I think we just need a hover mid, perma, and just clear camps and kind of have St. Ghoul and Kraken just sit mid as well, just to play these dives. But good execution from Dorado.
Really great stuff here so far. Spectate client, are you messing with us again? I hope not. I think we're getting back into the swing of things as Porsche still chasing forward onto Diesel, struggling to actually land some of these Kuldameeks, and Diesel looking like he's pretty strong on health. He doesn't have the ultimate, but does he need it when Porsche is starting to fall this low?
I also think Munchie took the grubs while that initial mid play was going on, or the mid play, yeah, but grubs got taken as well while the bot play was going on. While BRE was diving bot, I think Munchie was able to snag those grubs. So we do have the 6 grubs into the Yone comp.
Oh, nice knock up there, just barely connecting for Kachu, and that might just be the death of Lickable. He's got nowhere to go. Likeable. I'm adjusting my names on the fly here, and he does end up going down. Now another follow-up. Munchie maybe in a little bit too far here, taking multiple shots from the Jhin. Good dodge of the Deadly Flourish, but now what about the curtain call? St. Ghoul finishes that one, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, I wish an RB could have got the kill, but we'll take it. I think at this point, you just want to stay on tempo and not lose too much. I would really, really want to fight over this mid tower and make sure we don't lose it. Because if you crack mid into this comp, it's like really hard. Sedge Alley's been diving you perma regardless, and now without mid outer, you're gonna get dove even harder. So
definitely still a risk as they're looking to keep up that pressure in mid lane. Kachu been perma shoved in all game long. Ooh, and even our little item indicators are starting to come on up there as first items completed for most of the cast in this game. That Blade of the Ruin King going to be the first choice for Kachu in particular. Likeable still just trying to clear out this vision, trying to make sure he gets to stay strong as this is here. But that's 2 deaths in a row since that double kill that he was able to pick up earlier on. And feels like Dorado are doing a good job of shutting him down before he can really get rolling.
And Draxler's about to get first tower here in bot side. And then he'll probably shift mid and they'll have Kachu sit in the side lane. So I think it's going to be very difficult. Oh, they got it mid and bot at the same time. Wow.
Yeah,
so, yeah
really looking like
very tough map control situation for BlackRock. They kind of have to pick a lane, play 3-4 members through it, and then really force the prio if they want to play any of these neutrals.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to lose all 3 outer turrets in one fell swoop here. Porsche going to be able to claim his, and that's a huge injection of gold into Dorado, and really flexing what those 6 grubbies can do for you in regards to structure damage. They're going to get the Rift Herald as well, and this is a little bit of a full sweep coming through from Dorado as they claim everything on the map at once.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes on the Drake too. So what I kind of expect is Dorado to just chill out and farm a bit, clear their whole jungle. They have all the camps up, And then they're just gonna run down mid and drop the Herald and play mid tier 2 for free, right? Because Herald plus Ziggs bomb, you always get the tower, and then they can just play Drake on exit. So I want to see Munchie clear a bit, hit B, finish that first item. Maybe Sunfire Cave, maybe, you know, I don't know what he's building, but I don't know what's good this patch. But yeah, finish that first item and then play your Herald when Drake is spawning.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's going to be a little bit of time here where I'm just counting items. I can't really say what items are good, what items are bad, but I know that finished items are better than non-finished items. We're definitely going to be looking over at Dorado in that department, as it does look like that's a wit's end, probably being worked on by Kachu, going to be done here before too long. Looks like they want to play
this tier 2. They're shifting Porsche down to mid, and they're going to play 4-man strong on this tier 2 bot. This is a nice play from a gold perspective, but it's a little concerning because they have all their camps up on their bot side, and it's a little forced. But maybe BlackRock just can't do anything about this.
Oh, so close. They didn't actually quite get the damage there for Draxler to execute, so the turret will keep standing. Good hold by BlackRock, basically going to nullify the Rift Herald here, at least until they manage to execute the tower later on. Doesn't look like they're going to face too much punishment other than, like you said, not being able to get that farm. Likeable looking for the engage, shuffles back in Draxler, and will be able to pick up the first kill of the fight. TP coming in from Kachu. Will everybody magnet stormed from St. Ghoul, but Kachu still just running amok, looking to finish off this rel. Taking a bunch of return damage, though. Hit by the deadly flourish. Will Likeable finish him off? Flashing out. Struck once more. One more shot from Inori B will be the end, and now it's up to Porsche on the backside, but he's 1 versus 5. It's shut down to Krakadon. A fight win for BlackRock as they make a stand in their bot inner turret.
Yeah, it's a great turnaround. I think this is kind of the theme of the game is Dorado's playing a little too fast. They're not quite setting up the way they should, and BlackRock's doing a good job of being patient and punishing, right? I think if you can go get that inner tower, there's no way BlackRock get to make that play. But because they didn't get any tower damage on after the Herald crash, they couldn't kill the Ziggs bomb, and then they get the engage. So we'll see how this dragon fight goes. Can BlackRock post up on mid lane? They're blowing TP. Draxler no flash.
Yeah, Diesel has arrived to the scene. St. Ghoul looking for potential engage. Ultimate's down for basically everybody except for Kachu, Draxler, and Snow. Dashing forward is Diesel, going to be able to pull Snow out of position. He does pop the Unbreakable Will. Will they be able to break him anyway, though? Likeable going to be able to get that one. Now Munchie low on HP, stunned up by the Tangle Barbs. There's going to be the dash forward from Kachu, forced to return to the Soul Unbound. Dash forward, Draxler pulled out of position yet again, and BlackRock Esports pushing Dorado onto the back foot.
Yeah, this is a really nice pick, and they're really fighting over the mid prio, right? So I hope they don't siege this. They should just fog into bot and play the Drake. But I think Dorado really needs to start opening through side here. Use your Yone, use your Renekton to get side pressure, and then play into mid, because you can't stand into an Azir Jhin like this and just, fist fight 1v1 or 5v5 in the mid lane. It's too good for these characters.
Wow, and still challenging for it at Dorado and punished yet again. A great engage found by St. Ghoul, but look at Porsche. He's spinning across the team. He's got the Dominus rocking, and he is tearing through the health bars. A double kill going over to him in a 3-for-1 exchange. BlackRock were able to finish off that dragon, but they are down members and forced to retreat.
And Kachu came in from the bot side, is just what I was talking about. Kachu came in from the bot side and wiped the fight. We couldn't see who was in the pit from the camera, but Kachu came in and flanked. And I think that's really what Dorado need to win this game, is just play through your side lanes, play your flanks, hit these towers with Ziggs. Don't get too fancy.
Ooh, good dodges, though, coming through. He's going to make this 1-for-1. TP channeled by Likeable to be able to clear out that wave, and I think that's a win for Krakadon. That should not work out that way.
Oh yeah, fancy feet, 100%. Very nice from Krakadon.
All right, let's check out the replay.
So yeah, see how Kachu has prio in the bot lane, and then he can walk in here and just fight the Jhin for free. That's how I think BlackRock needs, or how Dorado needs to open these fights, is let your Yone play in the side lane and then come in with a flank.
I can't believe that Inori B secured that dragon. He just blows the 4th shot on it to make sure the team gets it. I think, it was a rough play for BlackRock either way, but if they give that dragon over to Dorado, which it seems like they were milliseconds away from doing, I think that feels even worse.
Definitely game losing potential. So it's good, at least they got the Drake, but I think for BRE, they need to push out a lane, set up on objectives, and actually play 5v5, because you can't let your Azir or your Jhin just get one shot by the Yone like that. You have to actually play your team comp.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a split fight there. Dorado getting exactly what they want with the multiple angles of engagement, utilizing the multiple strong solo laners that they've got for themselves. But it does feel like the pick for BlackRock has been quite strong as well. They've got a lot of chain CC between Root Caller, Deadly Flourish, all this catch from Diesel and St. Ghoul. It's been tough for Dorado to respond if they aren't all grouped up as one or starting to fight on their own terms. And Ori B going to throw down that curtain call, going to be forced out of it immediately by a soul unbound from Kachu as Baron start is going to be stopped.
I like the idea from Dorado to pull the Baron so that you can turn a fight, but unfortunately they just don't have the sustain at this point to sit on Baron 24/7. So it was always going to be, disengage and maybe get a pick, but not a real play, unfortunately.
Yeah, everybody just focused in on the mid lane from BlackRock. Sans Diesel, top lane, left on its lonesome for the time being, and this push starting to favor Diesel, it feels like, as the game goes longer. He is not on 2 items the way that Porsche is, but starting to feel like he's more confident in these matchups. Again, really hard to tell who is the default winner in some of these matchups, but it definitely feels like K'Sante starting to be able to hold his own a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's pretty even now. It's only about 20 CS, so obviously the kills, but once you have that Thornmail and he's almost at his second item, it's pretty close. I think Renekton can't really push K'Sante out that hard, and maybe that's why they opted for the K'Sante over. There's maybe a little bit of outscale there, but he's also up levels, so maybe they just need to do a better job of getting Porsche resources.
Oh, another pick here, this time onto Snow. TP being channeled, though. This is going to be Porsche coming right onto the back line. Krakenon going to need to create this space. Likeable throws down the ultimate, trying to buy some space, pushes away Munchie. Porsche is right onto him. Over the wall comes Kachu, and now he's behind enemy lines. A double kill to him. Back on towards Nori B, who flashes back the way he came, but that's going to leave his top laner to die. It's a 4-for-1 team fight to Dorado.
And that is Baron. Kachu played that really well. He played off his CP really well, and he targeted the right heroes, right? So he's going all in on Azir, he's going all in on Jhin. That's the damage for this team comp. I know K'Sante just got nerfed, but he's not the 1v9 champion he used to be. So I think really great fight from Kachu, Munchie getting his passive off. And this is the strength of this team comp. Once Ziggs has space, it's just really hard to lose these team fights.
Yeah, this fight, this is why we know Kachu as the melee mid specialist. He loves these kinds of picks, and he really shows it here. Really great job to be able to find his way on towards the priority targets, creates the space, gets over the wall, and dips back over.
Yep, and here he goes on Inori and just really negates most of the damage potential from this fight. The carries really have a hard time hitting, and the bruisers just clean up. You never want to see a full HP Ziggs at the end of a team fight.
Absolutely here. You better start watching out, Spyrax, the young Maryville mid laner, showing up in his first game of ACL for this season. Really great stuff from him. And BlackRock probably starting to be a little bit thankful for the full Fearless that this champ's not going to be back in game number 2. Diesel, though, looking for a little bit of something on towards Snow. Is he up too far, though? Munchie going to try to lock him down. The Unstoppable going to get it back to the team. Kachu still up here, though. Soul Unbound, raining in the damage, but BlackRock are able to disengage.
I don't think they can hit until the next wave. I'd like to see 4-1 instead of 5-0, but I guess if you just have mid prio, you can just run down mid. With the Ziggs, it's easy to pop the tower, so.
Yeah, that Ziggs satchel charge going to be coming through here before too long. There's going to be the curtain call opened up, though. Shots raining through onto Draxer. They're going to need Snow to block these away, but even that damage looking like it's starting to stick. We'll be able to back on off a little bit of damage, particularly onto the Alistair, but Dorado do not seem to have any sense of wanting to back away, and they are going to go for the 4-1 like you called out. Kachu splitting towards bot.
Yeah, and I think once Kachu gets this lane wave in, he can flank here, or he can trap the Azir. So the Azir can't disengage off the tower, and they just get mid for free.
Ooh, great move by Kachu there. Did just force out the Emperor's Divide from Likeable while not expending too much of his own. His Fate Sealed still going to be present. Now starting to duel with Diesel. Diesel, though, gets multiple turret shots onto him. Goes in for the all-out, looking for this pick. Fate Sealed to get Kachu back away. And now the team going for the engage. Diving forward on towards St. Ghoul, who will be the only victim so far. Diesel is still all out, backing away towards the rest of the team. These health bars are getting low. Likeable is finding the damage, but there's no front line left to keep the engage going. BlackRock will have to settle for getting the siege stopped.
All things considered, it could be way worse, right? Dorado's going to go towards top here, get the top tier 2, but once the Baron goes down and you kind of get your mid turret cracked, you kind of have to go up all your tier 2s anyway. So good siege from Dorado. I like the use of the Baron. This is probably what, like a 5-6k Baron power play. And yeah, they're just going to deploy on the map, hit Drake, go bot, like just play off of your mid wave now. You can kind of 4-1 with someone in top and then just play TP. I don't know how soon Kachu's TP is, but I would just put Kachu on top side here and then just have everyone else play bot.
That would be quite the endorsement. Yeah, what they're probably going to look for here is that next dragon. Going to be coming on up here. It is alive. It is an objective bounty, and it would be soul point for BlackRock, but the idea of fighting for it really tough here. Diesel already a little chunked out. Here comes Snow looking for the flank. A deep TP as you call out. Porsche going to be able to find his way into Krakendown, who's forced to flash back away. It's Diesel and Likeable in the middle of the team to shuffle backwards, but that's the DPS of the front line, and that is Likeable falling down to the Mega Inferno Bomb. 2 kills back to Dorado, and a 5 versus 3 push could be the end of game number 1.
I think this is game. They have a lot of DPS, they have a lot of tankiness, and Draxler's going to blow these towers up.
A nice punt back away from Snow, going to stop that curtain call. St. Ghoul still staying alive for just a little bit longer. We'll be able to finish off Munchie, but Kachu's going to be able to put him in the dirt. Kachu is unstoppable, and he is looking to clean up the last remaining members. Call that a 12th kill, and looking maybe for number 13. Will be able to stay alive, won't be able to claim a 13th kill, and game number 1 goes to Dorado White.
Yeah, really nice execution on this comp. I thought this is kind of how they wanted to play, you know, with Kachu from the beginning, and I'm glad they played through him, right? It's easy with the Yone to get a kill or 2 and just kind of chill and hit your item spikes, but they dove mid lane like every other wave. So yeah, let's see this damage.
Yeah, definitely looking like a Kachu-focused damage chart here for certain. Quite a bit being pumped out by Draxler there as well. That's just Zig's things, getting some of those AoE bombs on across. All in all, a pretty clean closeout from Dorado. There were some fight back moments. You can see the little dips at around 18 minutes and at around 22 minutes. But all in all, Dorado held control the full way through and were able to come up with the win.
Yeah, I think they had a missed dive in mid lane and then a missed execution on the bot tier 2, but they're the ones making the plays this game, right? They're being aggressive, they're setting up the macro and actually playing the map. So I think it's okay if you can make those mistakes as long as you keep your foot on the gas.
Absolutely here. And that is going to do it for our first round here, but that's going to mean we've got all these champions disabled, and we have got a draft number 2 coming up before too long. We will be back in just a couple of minutes. We're going to throw it over to a quick word from Pro Comps, but we will be back soon. Talk about that game number 1 and get ready for game number 2.
Quick shout out to Pro Comps, our sponsor and a game changer app for the league community. This isn't just like the other tools. It's your personal draft coach, perfect for both teams and solo players. In fact, you can pair it with any other app you use. ProComp stands out with features like custom champion pools, personalized tier lists, and live draft advice. Think of it as having a virtual coach and a strategy toolkit all in one. They offer real-time champion ban recommendations. They already have over 200,000 downloads and thousands of daily users just like you. ProComps is user-friendly and totally free. It is a no-brainer to at least give it a go. Download ProComps now, and you'll experience a whole new level of drafting power in your league games. Go to procomps.gg, download it from Overwolf, or click the panel below on our stream.
Welcome back, everybody. We are right into draft of game number 2. Nobody waits for us anymore, Sneezes, but
Yeah, we don't get a break. Come on, guys.
yeah, it's all right.
You have a fast win, and you go right into game 2. These guys going out or something? What's going on?
Yeah, they're trying to get themselves out of here as quickly as possible. At least Dorado is. BlackRock trying to keep us here a little bit longer. At least I hope they are. And I think they showed us a fair bit of fight in that first game. If the yapping I'm hearing around is to be believed, I think hearing a little bit about Ziggs being a bit of Thanos on this patch. So perhaps the absence of Ziggs will give BlackRock that fighting chance that they need.
I mean, let's be real. Dorado got their best comp, right? You have Kachu on his best champion, Porsche on their best champion, Draxar on a very easy to pilot champion, Snow 2 on one of his best champions. Like, super playable comp, really connected. So I'm not saying it'll be 2-0, but if they draft like that again, it could be. I don't know if they get that much of a draft advantage, though, going forward.
Absolutely here. So we will find out what the priority is going to be. There goes the Nidalee ban and the Yasuo as well. So they're really trying to take some of these prio mid laners away from Kachu.
Yeah, get Kachu out of here, man. He's too good on these melees.
For sure. There is going to be the Leona lock-in to start things off. So still priority towards Snow. I think he had a great first game on the Alistar, and now with Alistar and Rel gone, they're going to want to prioritize that Leona to get that holy trinity of engaged supports locked in their favor.
Yeah, I think engaged still being strong and fearless is tough, because we saw this in NACL a lot. Teams would burn all the engages and just trade them, and then it's kind of like, oh, it's game 3. Whoever gets the last engaged support wins, right? Oh, Thresh. Okay, I don't hate it into Leona. I don't think it's that strong right now, but we'll see. I wonder if they go a classic pairing like Jinx or Aphelios with Thresh.
Absolutely. There's going to be a pick that definitely Snow has a little bit of a reputation for, but St. Ghoul's been a big Thresh guy as well during the times that we've gotten to see him in and around the ACL and open qualifiers. So some of those big supports taken off the board, going to try to pick that for himself, and a good little flay interaction on towards the Zenith Blade if it calls for it. Kaisa, one of the only traditional marksmen I have seen 80 carry mains say is good on the patch.
Interesting. I don't love the pairing, I'm not gonna lie, but if it's comfort and they build the rest of the comp around the Kaisa, I could see it, right? So now I'm looking for like engaged junglers. I'm looking for the Jarvans of the world. I'm looking for the Hekarims, even like the Shyvanas, champs that can force fights. Oh, Syndra, okay. Are we sure we're not Worlds Patch? Are we sure?
I mean, we might not be Worlds Patch, but we have no pro play to know about to go off of other than Worlds, so we might as well be.
This is one of the few mages that, well, I don't want to say it this way, but this is a mage champion that Kachu is very good at, right? So I like that they're still prioritizing the 2v2 with, Syndra Viego, and they're getting Kachu on comfort. So really good strategy here from Dorado.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I don't want to paint all of our ACL participants with the same brush here, Sneezes, but this is something that we see around Winter Split every year. Is we start out and everybody's just going for what was good in the most recent World Championship, and then competitive play starts up and everybody starts picking up the competitive champions. So
yeah, we'll see. We don't know how much these teams are screwing. Zoe, oh, woo, Samikin.
Right. I was gonna say, you got any unique Zoe insights for us after a split of scrimming with Samikin, Sneezes?
No, I'll say, I mean, we didn't really scrim with Zoe, to be honest with you, because it's like, why bother, right? I know this guy's insane at it. So really for us, Zoe, it was like, okay, we're in game 3, we're in game 5. Sammy, is Zoe good here? Yeah. Okay, we're picking it. Like, whatever. So I think it's really cool to see a young mid laner playing these really high skill cap champions like Azir, like Zoe. I don't know the matchup. I don't know if it's good into Syndra or not, but likable must think so. And I think they have the makings of a poke comp. I don't know what the Kaisa build is on this patch. It changes every patch, but
yeah, they haven't gone through with the W change, right? Like, I know they were testing on PBE for a bit. So. Yeah, they were testing on PBE for a bit, where AP upgrade for W would make it piercing rather than give the cooldown refund.
Yeah, go through everything, hit the whole wave and an enemy. Like, no thanks.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I do think losing the CDR would be kind of big, though, for the Poke Kaisa, at least in comp. So we'll see if that's the build still. Lee Sin locked on in here. That's going to be a fun one to see. Krakadon piloting. Now going to be facing off against Diego, too.
Yeah, and I like the Lee Zoe. I think you have a lot of CC and damage, a lot of burst, especially if the bubble hits. And maybe that's, maybe you can stand up to the 2v2 of Syndra Viego. So I think level 3 a little stronger, level 6 a little weaker, but it kind of depends what you do in those first couple levels. If Syndra, whoa, Syndra bot.
Syndra bot. I mean, maybe AD carry really is unplayable. Maybe Show goes on to something. I don't know.
Man, maybe he is.
Somebody check the Ole Miss. Actually, Ole Miss rescheduled, so they're not playing tonight.
Are we playing Syndra bot?
All right, we've reached it. It's what marksman mains have been warning us about for years.
Cool
We've hit the singularity.
I mean, it could be like AD LeBlanc bot, but I kind of doubt it. So I'm feeling the Syndra bot for sure for Draxar. So
it's sure.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's really good into Kaisa. It'll get prio. It pairs well with the Leona. You can pop Leona's passive really easily with the Q. So yeah, let's say, and then level 6, you just hard all in, right? Like, yeah, super interesting. Nice drafting from Dorado.
Yeah, and coming out of week number 1, it looks like the answer to our question of how good is Draxar's AD carry, the answer might be doesn't matter.
Yeah, who cares,
it's 2 mage games back to back coming through for Draxar here. And there's Urgot in the top lane for Diesel. This is a pick that he's a big fan of, so excited to see how he's going to be able to perform on it up against Porsche. Notably, BlackRock did select red side. They had side selection for this game after the loss in game number 1, so they are choosing to go here. Looks like they really value that potential counter pick. We'll see how they're going to be able to make it work.
And I think the feeling is that all of the blind champions from Dorado are out, right? No more Sedge, no more Ivern, no more Cassante or Renekton, no more Ziggs. So let's punish them with matchups, right? And so I really like the Urgot pick. I liked the idea of the Zoe into the Syndra, but I think they might have got debated. So I know LeBlanc is kind of a tough matchup. LeBlanc Viego is a stronger 2v2 than Syndra Viego, especially early. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Indeed, we will. We are going to get into our spec delay here. We'll bring on up the matchup with everybody in their designated roles once we start it off. I am curious to find out if Draxar's on the Syndra or the LeBlanc. I'm pretty confident it's going to be the LeBlanc, or the Syndra, rather. Yeah,
I think it should be Syndra. It could be the Gnar. No, I'm just kidding. It'd be Gnar bot would be crazy.
Absolutely. Do you want to take a second here to shout out predictions? They are live. You can go and gamble your Aegis points if you so desire on a team of your choice. See if you're going to be able to stack on up those Aegis bucks and spend them on fun prizes. I don't know exactly what prizes we have right now. You get like little sub emotes and stuff. There's fun to be had. I recommend. It's good to get yourself a little tiny bit of stakes.
Big money, no whammies. Yeah, go for it. I mean, if anything, just vote for a game 3, right? I'd love to see BlackRock strike back in this game. And for me, what I want them to do is play the level 1, right? I think first game of the series, first game of the split, let's come out in 5 point and chill out a bit. But now you're down a game. They kind of out-macroed you. They outfought you. They out-comped you. So I want to see 5 people in a bush, level 1, trap them, walk into their bot side, do something, right? Let's make it spicy, because I would hate for them to 5 point and then kind of have the same outcome as last time.
Absolutely. We'll see if BlackRock, they've busted out a couple of wild cards here. They got the Urgot top, they got the Zoe mid. So we'll see if these solo laners can surprise us, because Dorado, very strong in the solo lanes in game number 1. I do think Porsche and Kachu were the big driving forces behind that game number 1 win. Let's see if BlackRock can change their fates now with some unique matchups.
Yeah, and I would like to think that they had some interesting matchups, but I think Dorado pulled a fast one, right? I really like the Syndra flex pick that they took advantage of. I was kind of leaning BlackRock as the draft went, but when that LeBlanc locked in, I'm a little concerned now. So maybe this is a Samikin Jr. and we just see the Zoe go crazy, but I think I would give a slight edge to Dorado.
All right, well, let's answer our questions. Let's see who's piloting what and where. We get into our little pending slide. Does look like it's going to be Draxar on the Syndra bot, so it's a return to a pick that we've gotten to see a little bit of before historically.
Yeah, the only other thing I'll say about the BlackRock comp is they do have some interesting wombo, right? You can hit a Zoe bubble, you can hit the Urgot ult. Like, you really can just pick one person off 100 to 0 off of like a Thresh hook or a Zoe bubble. So maybe some opportunity there. But again, Dorado went on side as well. You really need to not give up 6 scrubbies into this comp. So I want to see how that first scrub fight goes, and see if BlackRock can like reset and shift, or swap, do like a late swap. Just find a way to get into that fight winning, right?
Yeah, and you hope that the early game power of the Urgot Lee Sin can like try to get you there. I'm very interested in how this Gnar Urgot matchup is going to go. They kind of are. They're both top laners that feel like they kind of make their living punishing melees by being this sort of pseudo ranged bruiser, but facing off against one another, it'll be interesting to see.
I think it's Urgot favored technically.
You would hope so, because Diesel did get the counter.
Yeah, right, because he picked the R5. Yeah. 100% would think it's favored, but I think it is a winning matchup for Urgot naturally, and then it is one of Diesel's better champs. But I know Porsche also plays the Gnar, so I like that the top laners are getting their comfort this series.
Definitely, and there are 2 big forces on their teams. We called out pre-game, right? This is not just this matchup, but this whole group feels like it's got a lot of very strong top laners. There's Lawrence here, there's Cozy here, Sunlight from GFT, definitely a player that's on the come up as well. Will be very cool to see how this group continues to build out in that role and otherwise. This definitely was one that we pegged as kind of our group of death. There's definitely dangerous teams here in Piltover, all the way down, even as you get down to teams like Costa Gamers and K9, who are maybe the lowest seeded group, but they are some of the strongest teams within their seed.
Definitely. The one thing I'm thinking of, to take a point away from Dorado here, is I think they could have a hard time taking towers. Last game they had an easy mode, right? They had a Fed Yone and they had a Ziggs that could just bomb the towers, right? With 6 scrubbies. I think it could be really, really hard for this comp to take towers if they don't have a big lead. So maybe BlackRock can just hold on, kind of the way it did in the early game last game, and the scaling is actually there for them to play the map later on.
Yeah, I'd also add like the pick from BlackRock looks incredibly strong again, and it felt like that was some of where their game looked the strongest, or where they were able to build up the most advantageous states against Dorado. They were able to find Draxer or Snow and be a little bit further away from the rest of the team than they should be, and they were really able to punish with chain CCs using stuff like the Deadly Flourish and the various lockdown tools that they had available in their comp from game number 1. Now they've really doubled down on that, right? They've got the Sleepy Trouble bubble, they've got the Thresh hook, they've got the Lee Sin looking for his kind of dash combos, and they can really take somebody out if they're just a little bit out of position.
And I really like that they have a Nori on hard scaling like ADC, instead of this kind of pseudo mage with Jhin, right? Where you're pressing your buttons and kind of pressing R. I like, Nori is a strong mechanical AD, good in team fights, had a lot of good, impressive team fights in the summer. And so I like him on a traditional like auto attack ADC, closer to that with Kai'Sa, more so than the Jhin, with less mobility, less outplay potential, right? I could see the Kai'Sa getting like a double, triple kill in one of these fights.
Absolutely here. And I hear the sounds of champions portaling into Summoner's Rift, so we should be able to get onto the Rift in just a moment or two, not getting struck with the old loading screen bugs that have plagued the patch just a little bit, not to jinx us too early on. There is no jinx in this game, so we are ready to get into game number 2. Dorado Gaming White looking to take a 2-0 victory over BlackRock, looking to take us to game number 3.
And yeah, let's see what they do level 1. I'm hoping we don't get a 5-point, but it looks like I am depressed.
It's tough. It's tough to deal with, Sometimes you got to seek out your happiness internally. You can't get it from games of League of Legends. But Munchie going in for a little bit of an early face check to get that ward. Krakodon going to start trading with him, but Kachu's in position. Krakodon wasn't expecting a second member. The chain level 1 gives Kachu first blood.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Krakodon didn't flash, right? I think he dies either way, so the kind of consolation is that at least he didn't low flash. And are we gonna have the same thing happen again? Okay, there at least we get out. Yeah.
Absolutely here. There's going to be that flash blown away. Going to be more and more tools not available. Or was that a flash? Am I crazy? I thought that was a flash.
It was a flash from Nori.
Yeah, an Nori flash.
And both bot lanes used their pot. So, and actually Drexler used both pots. So, no pot spot, and then they should be coming that to their team. I'd expect to see some sort of bot fight, you know, level 2, level 3. You know, maybe we get a 3 camp again from Munchie.
Yeah, so
knowing that Inori has no flash.
Yeah, definitely a risky position here for Inori B. And an early lead, once again, to Dorado, although the harassment from Likeable, definitely something that needs to be respected. You're able to really maximize the uses of those sparkles. You can really amp up your damage on the Zoe. And the E start, perhaps not the strongest in the world for the one-on-one laning, although Kachu plenty happy that he got that first blood.
Yeah, give me the first blood, and I'm happy to take a subpar ability to level 1. So I think you take the good with the bad, especially having TP. You know, even if he gets poked out a bit here, he can always just TP back. It'll be fine.
Always can. Trades coming back and forth. The early recall for Inori B knows he's in a bit of a dangerous position, so they're able to crash that wave early on, get him back to base, get him the boots that he will need to dodge some of these Zenith Blades and scatter the weaks. Rakadon paying a visit towards mid, as is St. Ghoul, but Hook doesn't land, and LeBlanc is out of there.
Yeah, I know this was successful, but I like the trajectory here, you know. Likeable kind of got super camped in the first game, and I like that they're finding timers with the Thresh, with the Lee crossing through to actually, you know, cover this lane a bit.
Is going to be the goal. He's going down towards his bottom side now, clearing out the blue buff. And he'll be finishing off his first round of camps as the Scuttlers are showing on up. And Porsche has successfully crashed the wave in here, so might need some points in the W before Urgot is quite that strong. Nice trades from Likeable, though. He does come on forward. He has access to the cleanse for the sparkles. Good trade back from Kachu. Both sub 200 HP, but nobody will go down.
Yeah, really big trades. You know, both players knowing their champions really well. I think LeBlanc sort of wins out, but
Uh-oh, Kraken. There's that flash. That's why it's important to hold on to it earlier, but it's not going to do anything to save his wolves. Does not get on towards that camp, trying to trade forward on towards Snow as St. Ghoul coming in for the collapse. Even if this hook does connect, there's the Sleepy Trouble Bubble as well. Can they bump out the damage? They do get Snow low. Now moving forward on to Munchie and Ori B here as well. Flashback away, but Kraken able to chase further. They need to finish him here. Likeable has access to the flash. Can't quite get the paddle star. Munchie dodges it all and will get away with his life.
yeah, nice. He had already flashed in that fight too. Really good movement to get out. It could have been really bad for Dorado, but yeah, they got their pick. They got out. It's feeling good for them.
Definitely more summoners. Actually, I was gonna say one more summoner, not actually that many, because Kragadon had to flash away at first, and then Snow and Munchie end up flashing on the way out. So nothing too killer for either side, but really crazy that this doesn't end up finishing off on a kill. Munchie so far out here, Kraken right on top of him, but they just don't manage to land any more abilities after this.
Yeah, good body blocking from everyone, right? Munchie body blocked for Snow on the way out, and then Kachu body blocked for Kraken, or for Munchie later on.
Yeah, that was actually way more sick from Kachu than I originally gave him credit for. He is on tonight, playing very well. No pun intended with Snow's in-game name here, but he's doing a really good job.
For BlackRock's bot lane to go more aggressive. They should be getting, yeah, they're getting flash up really soon. Oh,
Porsche just sees his opportunity and seizes it, hits level 2 first, and takes Diesel down. Kraken here going to try to trade it back, though. Can he get the turret shot? He can't, but he might be able to finish this kill either way. Porsche did use his flash on the solo kill. Can Kraken land this Sonic Wave? He's got to get it. Porsche able to dodge it away. Oh, but the ward is enough, and Tempest will claim the kill back for Kraken. But now St. Ghoul getting locked down at the bottom lane. He's in a 1 versus 3, and he will be taken out by Munchie. Good placement of the paddle star will guarantee the sleep, but I don't think they're going to be able to make anything happen off that.
Yeah, it's really tough. St. Ghoul no flash now. I think they're going to be able to play through the spot lane pretty much whenever they want. And yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of a slower paced game, less more lane focused, less objective focused. But now we're finally hitting the grubs. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's good that BlackRock is getting the grubs, because I think it's really hard if LeBlanc and Nar have all 6. So
Absolutely is here. And a lead to Dorado, but BlackRock getting those grubs we did call out as a priority. Good for them to be able to at least guarantee they're not going to get 6 grubbed in game number 2. They're definitely suffering a little bit on this bottom side now after St. Ghoul getting taken down by that gank earlier on. And Likeable having been behind all along in mid lane means that this bottom side is looking rough.
yeah, they have to see this fully because LeBlanc pushed in mid as well, so they know they can have 4 bot. So they're gonna have to drop this whole wave until Lee Sin can come and connect and they can retake. This could be a fight, but I'm kind of anticipating Dorado's just happy that they had to drop the wave and now they're up EXP, and they're probably just gonna maybe hit the Drake on the way out, but probably just take the win and get off the map.
Yeah, it does look like they're backing on away here. At least this follow-up wave will be able to be cleaned up by an Oribe and St. Ghoul, but definitely just building themselves up some of those faint advantages here. Really good stuff here from regular Coach Draxer in the bottom lane, given some in-game leadership this time around, and now going to be able to work alongside Snow to just continue to deny as many resources as they can from this bottom lane. Oribe and St. Ghoul doing their best to hold on and keeping the CS relatively close. You'd see an Oribe going for that call, going to just try to index in towards a scaling game plan and hope that they can play in towards that top side.
And I like Snow soft opening mid here. He kind of went mid into his bot jungle, and knowing that he kind of has to be bot for the 2v2. But I like that there was the look with Munchie that they could have synced up and gone for the mid gank. So I think Likeable's having a little bit of a better time this game, not getting permacamped by Alistar Sejuani, but they're still looking for angles. So Likeable has to be careful.
Ooh, Diesel taking another rough trade there as he gets Nard into the wall. Porsche really making good use of these mega windows to get powerful trades on the Diesel Zergot and keep himself winning in this matchup, right? He got that solo kill earlier on, has got a faint CS lead, has got the plate lead, and he's just going to try to hold on to that.
Yeah, and this Dragon was just a consequence of priority, right? The Syndra is wave clearing really well, sitting on Lost Chapter, and whenever they can shove in, they're just going to be able to fog into the river and get whatever objective they want, right?
Very
Blue
possible.
again taken. They did that last game too.
Yeah, good stuff for them, keeping control over the objectives that they care about. Do want to look towards the future a little bit here in that second grub spawn and how they're going to be able to navigate it. Porsche doing a really good job in this top lane, but they do have some power to play through. Krakodon was able to pick up that kill earlier on, has been giving some love up towards the top side. We'll see as we get closer to that timer if they're going to be able to find a way to relieve some of this pressure on Diesel, as Porsche's Mega, again, doesn't have access to the Gnar ultimate, but is still just getting some of these procs of the Demolish and keeping Diesel on the back foot.
If I'm BlackRock, I'm happy that I got 3 grubs. I don't need 6 for my comp to function. So I would just play bot side. I would let them take the top side on the grub spawn. I'd have Diesel back off and even give first tower if I have to. But I'm ganking the Syndra. I'm trying to dive this Syndra and kill them and maybe just hard push bot tower and get first tower in exchange for the grubs.
EP back mid from Kachu, making sure he's going to be present here for this next grub spawn. Coming on up in less than a minute now. Likeable, it's like he's the one trying to make a little move towards top lane here, but that wave will be crashing in. He's going to just walk on back, and Diesel's down below half HP now, no TP. Munchie about to come in for the dive.
Yeah, I think this is really tough. I think Diesel's going to drop here. We dropped Flash, so.
Yep. Flashing away and engage on a Draxer. Nice flash from Draxer. Will get him away from the death sentence that certainly would have been a death sentence. So now Krakodon arrives. How many resources did Porsche and Munchie blow? Diesel's advancing forward. The stun going to come on through. Going in for that Disdain shield won't be enough. There's the Dragon's Rage. Plenty far away from being able to secure a kill. And now Krakodon left out to dry. Getting re-dove. It's a double kill to Munchie. Hook on the bot lane, though. Might be the chance BlackRock needs. And Oribe back over side. Dodges away from the scatter of the week and gets the kill on a Draxer. Snow going to be forced to abandon this bottom side a little bit back. You wish it didn't go to St. Ghoul, but BlackRock trying to stay alive here.
It was super impactful. They really needed that kill. I would have preferred that instead of trying to retake their top side, BlackRock just over indexes into bots, send 4 people and kill both Snow and Draxar. But you know, I think it's a consequence of not screaming. So
disaster.
Yeah, Porsche's a monster.
Yeah, Likeable ends up going down in the top side. There's just nobody equipped to be able to defend this tower up against the dive power that Munchie and Porsche bring together. Kachu helping out there as well. And all 3 of these members now are just so powerful. The Urgot counter pick certainly not doing its job of holding this Gnar down, at least at this point in the game. And it's resulting in about a little over a 3K gold lead going over towards Dorado. So they did get that second spawn of grubs, so we're going to be tied up at 3-3.
Yeah, and I think the top, another pick.
No, this might be a one-shot on a St. Ghoul. Did proc the aftershock, so got just enough tankiness to stay alive. Draxler didn't have the unleashed power either.
Yeah, no, well, yeah. I think the challenge too with this top side is that the negative top plays that went against BlackRock have impacted the rest of the map, right? Viego's really fed, LeBlanc's really fed. You know, Porsche is strong, but not unbeatable, and I think it's just tough when the mid laner and the jungle are so strong.
No. Inori B getting snared on up by the Zenith Blade. A one-shot onto Kraken. The damage out of Munchie just ridiculous now. Diesel arrives to the scene, nearly gets one-shot by Kachu, and the damage from Dorado White is just too much. Each member of BlackRock dropping one after the other. St. Ghoul gets a hook on a Munchie, but it just does nothing, and that's an easy 3-for-0 to Dorado.
Yeah, really well played. I like that they put their numbers on the side of the map they want to play, and they're all going in together, right? I think BlackRock got kind of caught trickling in one at a time. TP even not enough numbers, so just a little bit of an unfortunate. I think it's tough to take those fights when you don't have numbers on the map.
Yeah, and what a showing here from Dorado Gaming White in their inaugural series here for ACL Fall. Snow, Kachu, Draxler. Faces that we missed during the summer, and coming back here, not skipping a beat, looking very strong to start things off.
Yeah, and the other thing about this roster, they've played together for a while, right? At least some of these players. I know Kachu and Snow have played together. I think Munchie was on some of those versions of the roster too with Draxar. So, and
Porsche was there with Team Ambition too.
Oh yeah, he was. And yeah, Draxar spent time as a coach there. He just playing some of the games. Like, this is a full team that knows each other really well, knows how to play together. They probably don't need that much in terms of scrims and prep to know what they want to do in the map. So I think it's just a consequence of BlackRock being a new team of players that might need a little time to gel, whereas, you know, Dorado is, you know, a package deal.
Absolutely. Here looking like they have still got it after taking a little bit of time off and being very strong up against a BlackRock squad that's looking to build on their summer. Inori B, though, not going to build on anything here as Munchie unstoppable as he cuts him down again.
Yeah, it's I think it's a kind of an untenable game state at this point. You know, you get into situations like this where you're really far down. I think really the only thing you can do is seed, right? You can't really contest objectives. You want to clear your jungle, clear the minions as they come in at their tower, but if they want an objective, if Dorado want an objective, they can kind of have it, right? Because otherwise, you're just going to die for it anyway. So kind of have to just press S key, press B key, relax a little bit, and hope that they make a mistake, because it's just really out of hand at this point.
Definitely going to want to try to slow things down a little bit. Let Inori B scale, see if you can make picks happen with a team comp that is very well equipped to do so. But the idea of steamrolling through Urgot Lee Sin, definitely a little done for here. Likeable missing the trouble bubble, down 3 levels versus Porsche and just getting absolutely punished.
Yeah, just better resource distribution, and you know they're up, so they get more EXP. It's unfortunate, but yeah, like I said, you just have to seed. You can't contest anything. I wouldn't even be trading. You want to preserve your conditions. Like, there's only the saving grace is it's not 20 minutes yet.
Ooh.
There's no Baron, and they only have 1 Drake.
Oh, Just an absolute demolition there coming on through over the wall. They're looking for this pick onto Draxer, but now it's looking like it might be Krakodon who's up too far, and Nori beat over the wall, looking for the kill onto his bot lane opponent. Still can't do it. Munchie takes him out, saves his bot laner's life, and it's just more kills going over to Munchie, immunes the sleep, and gets on out of there with murder. 3 for 0, Dorado yet again.
Yeah, they're just hitting them with their wallets. I really don't think you can play until you get your core items. So if I'm Nori B or if I'm likable, I'm saying, hey guys, I need my items. Let's relax, take a deep breath. Let's wait until Zoe Kites have 2 items or one, or at least a full item before we're trying to play.
Yeah,
you have to find one fight in this game where you can come back, and there's only 2 Drakes down in 16 minutes. You have another 10 minutes that you can kind of chill. In theory, they can't end the game. So give yourself 10 minutes. Don't take any more fights, and see if you can pull it out of 2 items.
Absolutely. Oh, here's the fight breaking out once again. It's a focus on towards Krakodon. He is down. St. Ghoul going to join him. And Dorado just can do no wrong from this position. They will continue to take apart BlackRock Esports. 3 members trying to defend the mid-inner, but with this Rift Herald, it is probably done for. Diesel just barely dodging that chain to stay alive.
Yeah, this could be sub 20 minutes. We'll see. I think we're going to get all the inners down pretty shortly. Depends where they take this Rift Herald. Snow is a bad driver, as we can see. But yeah, I think it's just, like I said, untenable game state, too much gold, like 12k now, and no way for BRE to play. Even if they get a pick here, I think that the levels, like jungle's level 11 to 7 on the support is just too strong.
Ooh, nice little block coming through here from Munchie, saving his bot laner, and Porsche going to be able to pick up the kill on a St. Ghoul. Another hook, this one coming through from Munchie. Hook changing teams and favoring Dorado each time. Draxer on a killing spree, and Dorado will keep on marching through. It is again a 5 versus 3, and I don't think this inhibitor is going to stay up for long.
Yeah, I think Kraken inhib here, they can play top or bot. I don't think they go for the end on this push. I think they're just going to reset. But yeah, like I said, game's been over for a minute, so maybe not a 20-minute because they still need to hit Nexus towers, but probably 22, 23 minutes tops.
Yeah. A lot to think about coming into next week here for BlackRock as they are picked off yet again. Here's the follow through. Snow leading the charge as always, going to have that Fear Beyond Death onto him. They're trying to get the execute. They're not going to be able to find it. Kachu unstoppable. Nori B into the back line, gets that 1k gold shutdown, flashes away from the Gnar. Will he escape with his life? He's the best hope they got on BlackRock here, doing his best to stay standing, but the cleanse cannot save you from unleashed power, and Nori B will fall.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they got 1,000 gold. Maybe Nori B you can buy something, but it's still really tough. I think Dorado expect them to look for fights, and they're not just gonna get caught recalling on a ward or get caught recalling alone, right? So I know your instinct here is to look for picks, but in a game set like this, you really just kind of have to chill, hit minions, and like play for your item spikes, right? But hey, two items on a Nori, you never know.
Yep. Really want to see that Muramana done too. Needs about 90 more stacks. I don't know if he's going to be able to have the luxury to keep stacking that one up, but it's definitely something he wants as soon as possible here. The Luden's going to help him out in the damage output, especially the non-committal damage output, which feels like what he needs here. Be able to just try to soften these members up before he dives in with the killer instinct.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on the poke. I don't know if it's enough just because of how fed everyone is and the amount of lifesteal.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
But hey, Diesel can get a 5-man fear or something. You never know. They're looking for it at least. They're looking for the fights. They're not turtling. For
sure. Prognosis is dire, but looking for an angle wherever they can find one. Porsche is the one in this 1-4 split. Will they look to focus on towards him, not being able to find the Void Seeker? And look at that damage. Just one proc in the Hyper. Takes Inori out of the fight entirely. This hook's going to come through, but who's dealing the damage? Inori's not even present. Port's still at over half HP. Gnar's back into the wall, and a Diesel takes him out of the fight. St. Ghoul looking for another hook, going to be able to pull Munchie out of position. He is the form of this Urgot. That means he's got less gold, but it's not going to be enough to finish him off. Another Paddle Star not going to end up hitting. or stay strong back in the mini form, but still with plenty of health to work with as the rest of the base is just crumbling.
Yep, next inhib goes down. Looks like they're just going to try to hit Nexus towers, and maybe BRE can take a fight.
Ooh, another stun coming on through, only really lands on a Snake Ghoul, looking for that extra poke from Kachu, and this is BlackRock's stand, their best shot. They go on to Draxer, they chunk him to about half, the second Nexus turret falls, and they've got to get in here to fight and defend the Nexus right here, right now. A dive forward from St. Ghoul, he's going to drop. Poor Shinar's cracking on back away, and Ori B back out of the fountain, looking to be able to find the shots that they need to stay alive in this game, but he's forced backwards as soon as he comes out, takes down Munchie, but it's still 4 members of Dorado hitting an exposed Nexus, and it's Dorado White, a 2-0 to kick off the 2024 Fall ACL.
Really nice showing from them. I really like the Munchie Kachu pairing. They played the mid jungle really well, and established control through the whole game, both games. So really nice job. Well done.
Absolutely here. Picking up right where they left off, right? I mean, technically, you know, he didn't play in the final, but Snow, our reigning ACL champion, he was on that Team Fish Taco team that won back in winter. And yeah, he picks up right where he left off, just dominant in this showing, as is the rest of the squad. Looking like they did when the core of this team made it to the promo tournament a couple of splits ago and just dismantling BlackRock in the series.
And hey, Kachu had a great couple games, but he might not even be the best mage player on the team. You know, Draxar's been killing it on the Syndra and the Ziggs, you know, 2 high damage numbers both games. So I really like the ease of execution of these comps and how well they can team fight together too. So really, really good overall, like, standard showing from them. I think this is how this team's going to play going forward, and they're going to punch you in the mouth, and if you can deal with it, maybe you beat them, but I don't think a lot of teams in this group are going to be able to deal with it.
Absolutely here. Well, we'll try to get somebody from Dorado White for a quick little post-match interview. Would love to talk to Kachu. I think he's got to be the MVP of tonight's series. Really great games on him back-to-back.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to throw it to
Kachu or
break.
Snow, just because I'm homies with Snow.
We could get Snow too. Snow is the one who I think will do it. Kachu is the one. I pick Kachu, but we've had teams with these guys before. I think we might be talking to Snow. We'll find out. We're going to throw it to a quick break here while we get set up for post-match interview, but we will be right back with that one here on the ACL. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Champions League. We are joined by the victorious Dorado White Draxer. We're really keeping with the meme of not being able to see these Dorado logos. Draxer, how you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
Awesome to see you. Congrats on the win. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this roster coming together. You saying off stream that a lot of folks kind of coming out of a little pseudo retirement to come and play on this Dorado White squad. A little bit of a reunion from TA for Porsche, Kachu, and Snow. What's it like playing with all these guys again?
Yeah, we're all very good friends. We've known each other for a long time, and so we decided. Basically, pretty much all of us are fully retired except for Porsche from League or anything pro or competitive. So we thought this ACL split would be a nice time to have some fun with friends.
Nice. So you told us off air that you guys are screwing 6 days a week for this. I was really impressed with your macro, right? You guys are hitting the mid tower, then going down to drop the herald into tier 2. Since you guys are screaming way more than everybody else, what do you guys think of like your prep going into the series?
Yeah. Our scrims against the Heart of Thieves before they went to Worlds were really good. No, I mean, honestly, macro-wise, I was flaming the hell out of Munchie and Kachu because in game 1, the only reason why the game was kind of close is we were doing something we call demon shifts, which is actually a treats term from top to mid. So top goes to mid, and then like 4 people go bot, and after that point, mid's supposed to transition to bot. But then they went towards mid instead, so I just got a zero shuffled, and I was saying, "Cons, like, what are you guys even doing?" And they're just laughing. So macro leaving a little bit to be desired, but hopefully, people get better as the season goes on, or I flame them enough.
Yeah, I mean, flaming players is the way to get them to improve, right? That's the key.
Lose is improve, flame is improve, whatever it takes. Absolutely. Well, so you might be, maybe your scrim experience will tell us a little bit about this. How are you guys feeling about the new patch, the new items, compared to what we're all watching on Worlds? It feels like a lot's been turned on its head, a lot of different picks maybe coming into viability, a lot of picks maybe leaving viability. Where are you guys postured on that? And does the back-to-back mage bot lane games mean anything for that read?
So yeah, we don't really know what's going on. Honestly, I don't think anyone knows what's going on. It's a huge change, like the new season, and it kind of sucks that Worlds isn't the same patch. I think for us, I know for me personally, I liked roll swap to AD carry relatively recently because AD carry is super fun to play. It's like mechanical, like flashy, crit ADC, like ADC and stuff. But suddenly they nerfed all of the items so hard that all the crit AD carries I like to play, like Zion and Aphelios, are so bad. And so I was asking my friends that actually play the game, I'm like, hey guys, like what's good? And they go, Syndra Ziggs. And I go, really? Syndra Ziggs? And we came today and I'm like, what am I gonna play even? And they're like, well, I guess you're stuck on mid. I just played mid for last year most recently, so I was like, okay, I know how these champs work. It's interesting to have a new meta, and I think it's cool that League goes through different shifts, but for AD carry, it definitely feels like AD carry is the weakest it's been in a long time, which maybe is a good thing. It's been the strongest role for a long time, so.
Yeah, it's been strong for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So you've been playing a lot of these mages, right? Do we think, if you guys get the right draft, do you think there's a world where Kachu goes bot for a game or 2 in the group stage?
We were talking about, LeBlanc, AD carry, and Syndra mid. We were talking about switching that way. We were talking about me going mid. Yeah, I mean,
we were talking about the desk too. We're talking about the cast, like, where's the LeBlanc actually going, right? Like, yeah, I could see it.
We're definitely gonna have some crazy roll swaps in the future. Our team is built for it.
Good stuff. There was definitely, Kachu definitely threw us off a little bit in Winter ACL. I think that was the split where Maryville B was here and he was playing. They would have games where he would go bot and then what was it? He would go bot and then somebody else would swap to support and they would move Shady to mid or something. It was crazy. Yeah. It was a whole mess, but it's awesome to have him here. Is he at least enjoying the meta? Because I know he's a big Yasuo Yone guy, and it definitely got the Yone game in, drew the Yasuo ban, getting to play Assassins. It feels like it's kind of Kachu's bread and butter. Is he vibing with the new patch at least?
Yeah, I think Kachu's now at a point where, especially in this level, he can play pretty much whatever, and he'll be fine. Kachu is probably the number 1 or number 2 amateur seed a little back in mid. Or maybe number 3, I forget. So yeah, he's gonna be fine. I know he was like 80% win rate in solo queue at some point recently. He's doing fine with the patch. I think although we make fun of him all the time because his LeBlanc combos were so slow. Like we could see the delays in like his QE, for example, and we were just flaming him in game. Like, dude, your LeBlanc is so bad. So we'll see what his champ pool actually shapes out to be by the end of the ACL split. But I think for now he can play whatever.
Yeah, and I think you guys taught teams early. You still got to ban that Yone, right? Even though we haven't seen Kachu for a while. You said earlier, you guys are playing for fun. Everyone's kind of semi-retired here. Do you think we have a comeback from anybody? Is anyone on the roster trying to make a comeback? Go and look at tier 2 next split or something.
I think Porch is probably the most semi-serious about competitive. If he gets an AC offer, he may decide to take it if he can fit into school or whatnot, because he's an accountant major. For the rest of us, pretty much no. But I do think this, even though we're all very good friends, we are intending to take the ACL split relatively seriously in stage matches. And I think I looked at the seeding. I think we're probably gunning for third or something like that. So that's what we'll be spending our effort on trying to get.
All right. Well, looking forward to it. Well, last word goes to you, Drax, or anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to say before we close out the stream for the week?
Yeah, I just want the enemy team to know that they lost to 2 people that haven't touched the game in a year.
All right. Already getting a little bit of fighting words
brutal.
in the Piltover group. But thank you very much, Draxter. Congrats once again on the win, and best of luck in the rest of the split. I'm sure it will be seeing more of Dorado White. But that's going to do it for today's stream on the ACL. Thank you to Sneezes for hopping on today, and for everybody at home for tuning in. From myself, Caddy, and Sneezes here, as well as TDS, who could not join us today. We're going to throw you guys over to the Salt Mine, where they are tuning into the Demacia group, where peak performers are taking on Chaotic Solar.